right. Now we gotta. I'm a bit delayed, but I'll quickly look up reference. I saw one the other day that looked really interesting. Another one from that color space. One second. Busy bee. Where is the link? Who was the photographer? Photographer is, I have no idea. Okay. Come on. So there's the reference. Reference of the day. Hey Algani, how's it going? Oh, Dr. Sheldon, number 8.
Yeah.
That is very close to a powerful number 9. which is wait, which is this one? This is 85. Ooh. Study Monday. Zeolin. Yeah, Study Monday. I wonder if you could. Oh. Let me try one thing. Nightbot. Does that work? Or maybe you need to do that. It's going to be an experiment here. Hey, who did I get hosted? Oh, cool. Ah, cheers, man. Sup, nerd? Let's see if it works. Ah, it didn't work. Shit. 1 second. And another test. No, it didn't work either. I need to look up how you do that. Or maybe you can't. But you should be able to post emotes. Right? Hey, Captain Boss. How's it going? How's it going? Right, so this is the study of today. Yeah, exactly. The color was what intrigued me a lot. So anyone who want to jump in on the study, just apostrophe ref. And I'm going to be focusing on trying to capture the violence, the violence of the colors. Here we go. I'm a bit late, but delayed, busy, juggling. So I think a key to get the violent purple is going to be the blue and the green as kind of like a counterpoint to the purple. So we've got to get those cool, like the shadow, leaves in shadow at places. I'm obviously going to fail at nailing the accuracy, because the accuracy is not going to be a part of the study. But I'm going to try to, I'm going to make it a bit darker in here. Hey, Frenchie, very pink indeed. I'm gonna, this is kind of like laying the base. I'm gonna then put in pools of light for the leaves that are hit by sun. Hey, Captain Bose. Yeah, Pink Monday. So like I said, my focus today at this study, I remembered it, much like Jacob Mobley's reaction, was, wow, the colors. And that's one of the reasons why I think this study could be fun to do, because the colors are just so violently purple, pink, fascinating. So that's what I'm gonna try to capture. I'm gonna use, I wanna darken some to get that deep, because you're gonna need that contrast to pop the purple. Or pink, rather. Yeah, my plan was to stream over the weekend. That didn't happen. I had client stuff to do and busy taking care of kids and stuff, so it didn't really happen. But overall, it was a nice and relaxed weekend. It made me think about Unreal Bjorn and streaming, and again, like going back to what the purpose is, or what the future is. Jacob, yeah, it's fantastic colors. Hey, Weeping Jay. Like a friend of mine showed some pretty okay artists' Instagram account, and I was like, oh, that's that's nice. And then he said, look at the following, which was like 500,000 followers. I was like, how is this artist having 500,000 followers? That with 500,000 followers for a mediocre portrait artist. And the portraits were samey. Every portrait the same tilt, every portrait the same pouty mouth. And it wasn't like over sexualized, like, you can do that excuse. Oh, it's just a tits and ass account. It isn't. It's classically girly, The artist itself, she wasn't very pretty. I mean, she's not ugly, but I don't think that's the reason why people were following her. I mean, she looked decent, and she posted portraits of herself now and then, but it was mostly her paintings, so it's not like to reduce her to just her looks. She was clearly an artist. She was painting portraits all the time and so on. But that, so we can't say, oh, it's just because she's a girl, or maybe it is just because she's a girl. But I got so like surprised by it. I don't know why I kind of took offense almost, but stuff like that makes me go like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. Like the other week I hit 10,000 followers on Instagram, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty good, pretty good going. Pat myself on the back, like, yeah, that's good. 10,000 followers on Instagram. That's my Instagram being a year old, more or less. So, yeah, that's pretty okay for a year's worth of effort. And then her account, and I was like, yeah, clearly I'm doing something wrong. Like, why? Oh, why? I sound so bitter. But in all honesty, I just don't get it. Like, it might be because it's a different kind of generation, like a generational platform thing. I just don't know how to maneuver Instagram. Or, I mean, granted, I'm not pushing my Instagram. It's just there, right? It's just there ticking forward, and I update it with some art here and there, but it's by far no. I'm not using any, any of the what's it called? ESO, no, SOE tricks, or there's no real, like battle plan for my Instagram, which some people definitely do. They constantly update. They have a manager or whatever, to help push their account. I don't do any of that, obviously. That's why I only have 10,000. But I get so confused by it. It's ruled by cats. Yeah. But for me, it's like, which I we're back on this topic again. It's so interesting. Makes me I'm fascinated by it. I want to figure out, like, what is making her having so many followers. Is there an algorithm I just don't get? Is there a behavior I don't understand? How? I mean, great for her. I mean, I'm not complaining. Like, she shouldn't have 500,000 followers. Of course she should. She's managed, and it's all her. Good job. But like the analyst in me goes like, okay, how did she get 500,000? It has to be doable because she's not the only one, right? So then the question is, how do you get to that point? Can you what's it called? Bottle it. Is there specific steps you can take to? Maybe you won't get to 500,000, but if we figure out the behavior of to get 500,000, and even just remotely. One second. Watch the empty street. One second. ASMR. Yeah, like I was saying, like if you could bottle it, right? Or if we could break it down somehow, or understand it, we could use it for our advantage. When we make something good, we push I mean, obviously, attention to your account is great if you want to get hired. So obviously, if she's just a portrait, that sounded so minimizing of her effort. Just a portrait artist. I didn't mean it like that, by the way. I absolutely didn't mean it like she's just an portrait artist. Shit, I caught myself there. No, but if she's a portrait artist, right? You should try to decipher, what makes her so successful, because the portraits themselves were decent. It wasn't like, wow, floored by the technical expertise. It was like, oh, girly portraits, that kind of artist. But it's so fascinating. Like I wanna make a recipe and bottle it and use it. Use it to my advantage. But then again, maybe in the core, I am completely off that path. Maybe whatever I do is how to put it into words. I thought about this a lot, especially doing art direction and thinking about art direction. And a lot of the work I do is so extreme, right? It is definitely not mainstream, generic, mass appeal. And I think that's one of the reasons why, as an example, again, it sounds so horrible to say that she's generic, but she is generic in the sense of it is appealing to a broader audience, right? Oh, it's like, oh, a cute portrait. Everyone likes a cute portrait, but not everyone loves an orc with a hammer, USA Mifune, absolutely, absolutely. I read your comment now, and I was already venturing into that line of thinking. So that's kind of where I was going. Algani. True. Let's say that you always have to update, but what I found on my Instagram is the more I update, the less people see it. Because I noticed that if I wait a week in between updates, people will get a notification that I've updated. If I post 2 days in a row, the first post that's been a gap in between gets a lot of likes and views and comments, right? That's what we're all wanting, right? But the second post gets easily half, a third, maybe even. And that's in regard. I've tried this many times, and always the second post is significantly less. Kay and Drew. That's interesting. In what way would that occur? What would that behavior be? Is it purely like spam, like hey, 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 or is it some sort of structure, or is it pre-arranged, or Frenchy. All right, that's interesting. I would love to know the thinking behind that. Like, what is the behavior of Instagram? I mean, obviously, I get it that you want to be seen as people scroll, but do you need a certain amount of people already following you for that to be doable? Do you need to build up your base before you do daily updates? I can see that working as well, in a sense of, if you don't, if you how to say it, like if you have to build up your following, right? Everyone needs to have the following. So the more followers you have, the more people will be notified that you've updated. And one way to be seen is to update like all the time, right? But then if you update all the time, if you update too much, it's gonna be deemed as spam, right? So then the algorithm will knock you down and kind of shadow ban you of sorts. But the same will go with like, for example, with Facebook. If you put URL in your first post, it will automatically be the reach will be less in comparatively if you put the URL in a comment underneath the first post. You will have more exposure. And the same goes for like if you have a picture with a lot of words in on Facebook, that will also not have the same amount of reach as a picture with less words in, you know, like meme or things like that. So that's clearly, you know, like there is some underlying algorithm, and those kind of things fascinates me. It's like the rules of the game, right? And I want to figure them out. I want to know like a checkpoint of behavior. Don't do this, do that. Don't focus on this update at this day or this time of day. And there's always a lot of people who have different theories about like when to post, how to post, have your friends comment on them, and so on to kind of boost them in traffic through comments on each other account. So you just comment on each other's posts, adding the other accounts, like, oh yeah, at, all right, I get it. USA Mifune, yeah, absolutely. I mean, those are given, you know. But I think I think it's, if we don't think about things like this in today's platform or networking thing, no one uses a singular platform anymore, right? A lot of people use different platforms for exposure and also to observe. So that means you as a beginning artist or a striving artist trying to build your following, if you don't know the mechanism of how to get seen, how can you get seen, you know? Or versus someone who figured it out and just explodes on internet, right? Like, again, I apologize, this artist I'm talking about, but she isn't anything, you know, to call home about. Like, oh, amazing portrait artist. It was like portrait. So she obviously knows a lot more about the mechanics of it, right? Hence her massive following. And her art was decent, but I mean, there's a lot of decent artists out there that doesn't have 500,000 followers. Alamo Paint. Well, yeah, true. That's another point of view as well. Do you spam for the sake of spamming, or do you post for quality? Some artists have a massive following and they update once a month. But when they update, it's a great piece of art, right? And I think in that case, a lot of that, what that artist does is riding on the updates, right? If there's a bad update, people will be like, all right, this account is shit now because the quality dropped, right? I think that's one way to see it. But for me, I'm so intrigued by it, and I think those people who don't try to improvise their like meta behavior on social media, they are forfeiting exposure. And as far as I understand about exposure, it's a thing of momentum, right? And you can't go from 0 to 500. You gotta go with the curve, upwards. Jacob Mobley. I think there's definitely some truth to that, even though it's quite a negative point of view to have. That is just a high school mentality on Instagram, but it's probably quite true, right? Somewhat, because it is a normal social behavior, right? Trend and who's the popular person. It's always on internet, and people have a natural affinity to following what's cool, or what's trendy. Case in point, what are those sisters that are like the biggest Instagram account in the world with a big butt? Kardashians. Yeah, there we go. They are following her not for any other reason than, I mean, maybe she's doing good stuff now, but you know it's definitely like a cool kids club behavior, mentality in general on internet. I mean, you can't escape that. That's always, you know no one is friends with that quirky strange person in the corner, even though they are the friendliest person in the world, when Mr. Six Pack over there took off his shirt. That's how it is. That's how it's always going to be. You can never escape Mr. Six Pack or pretty girl with big boobs, whatever. I think because it is a fundamental behavior in human psychology, and how natural evolution to some degree works, and that we are not a simple animal anymore. So the complexity of our natural drive is just kind of all over the place. Yet we are driven by impulse, because we are fundamentally an animal with compulsion and programming to make the strongest survive, right? Fuck Mr. Six Pack. But yeah, but you know. Kay and Drew, yeah, absolutely. That was actually one thing I wanted to mention, because I stumbled on like a how to make money easy on Instagram type thing on YouTube. So it's like, oh, that's fascinating. Let's have a listen and what this person talking about. And I mean, it was super cheap. How to make money YouTube, you know, like it's dirty, you know. But what this person said was make a cute like puppy account about you know, like cute animals or whatever that a lot of people will like and that will click yes, and have an address in your account to a website. And on this website you have banners on the sides, ads on the sides, and then you put some cute movie about the highest ranking cute animal movie clip of the week. You know, like, oh, this, you can look at ranks about which clip gets the highest in a category, and you can go, oh, this cat movie clip has 20 million views. You'll just hot link or embed that into your own website so that they will watch the clip and you will, you know, get that traffic. But this website, you know, because they click on it, you'll get ad revenue. And then on Instagram, he said, you have photos, you put a photo of a cute cat, and the account itself links back to this website that you have, a single page website with ads on it, so that when they go there, they'll get you'll get the ad revenue, and they will watch the most trendy cat movie. And he said, and then you go on a follower spree, you go and follow a lot of people. Comment, hey, look at if you like animals or whatever, or in the biggest accounts that have animals, you go and comment, and in the comment fields people will see it, then they will go and look at your profile, and then they will click the link, and then you'll get ad revenue. And he said, go on follow everyone, then purge, and then follow everyone, then purge, and follow everyone, then purge. And he said doing that will make you money easy, without a doubt. Like a given way, like a bulletproof way of making money online, of just using what's trendy and get a huge amount of followers very quick, very easily. And I was looking at that clip and going, or that YouTube clip, going, just like, this is, there's no integrity, right? It's pure pirating, hijacking. I don't know. I mean, I was instantly thinking, okay, if I would do this, what would I do to actually have some sort of gravitas, right? So it's not just empty prostitution of what people like, you know. But nevertheless, I digress. The idea about that behavior just made me realize that I have no idea what I'm doing on Instagram. Like, if people do this amount of hard work to boost their accounts, I mean, obviously this was for money, so I get it. I mean, obviously, if you want to make money on online, that's a sure way of doing it. And you can see that because it's like a plague on social media, where there's these empty accounts that just go, want to see the cutest cat ever? Click here. Nevertheless, there is statistically proven though that there are a lot of people clicking those things. Grandma Smith or whatever, especially, like, oh, a cute cat, click. And that's why there is online scams as well, you know. because enough people go for it, which then again kind of makes me go back to I have no idea what I'm doing on internet when it comes to like expert level social media usage. Hey Artie, how's it going? Jacob Mobley, yeah, that too, like flame wars or opinions, counter opinions and opinions, and having a wild discussion also generates traffic. In that return, also generates followers, also generates also like this vapid. What's your thoughts on this? Who's your favorite? That clearly designed to just engage and get higher amount of traffic, and I'm quite sure that people asking those questions don't care whatsoever about the answer. They just want traffic to their account, and in return get more followers as a way of engaging with your crowd or whatever. True. True. Man, my study's way off. As per usual. But yeah, so that's really fascinating, and I was thinking about that quite a lot. You know, how can that be? And I think if we would figure out the algorithm, or we have to figure out the algorithm as if you're going to be try to get jobs in the industry, I would say it's really important that you figure out how to get exposure, because exposure clearly is the difference between getting hired and not getting hired. And one of the reasons why I touch on this subject is because I was sharing a friend of mine, his account, Dado Almeida. He's a great artist, but he said, I'm not getting any jobs for like a year. Like, what am I doing wrong? And I was, you know, racking my brain and thinking, you know, like, you are definitely good enough to work in the industry. Why aren't you getting jobs? You know? And I think a big part of it is networking, which made me again go back to the lady with 500,000 followers and going like, how the F like, compared to him versus her, he is significantly better, but he's also not a generic pretty girl portrait maker. Cheers, Jacob. All right, study's over. If you want to do this study, apostrophe ref, you'll get the URL. You can do your own study. I also post this on the forums, the Firestarter forums. I would say my study, I got what I wanted out of it, which was to kind of try to capture the ferocity of the pink and purple. If you also want to post it on the Discord, on the link underneath, please do so. Always love to see what you do. Anyways, let's find a suitable raid victim. Oh, Joe, what are you up to, Joe? No, he's not working. He's chilling. I guess we have to go dive into art. Sculpting a skull. Pretty cool. Could be interesting. Ideally someone what? Just butts and tits and ass, tits and ass. A dog? Oh, he's a furry. Well, maybe not. Oh man. Art, look at yourself. What are you doing? Is this all you have, Art? Hey. That looked pretty cool. All right, let's go give him some support, right? So as per usual, have a great day. Good night if you're that part of the world. See you guys tomorrow morning for another stream. Becoming a full-time checkout chick? I have no idea, cow milker, but come back tomorrow and ask. Anyways, I'm gonna do the outro, and after the outro, I'm gonna take us to the raid. So hang tight, don't go anywhere. Have a great day. Make sure you give him some love. He looks pretty cool. Anyways, bye.